Good morning. This is Kamera again. We're on day number 12. We're covering Genesis chapter 35 to Genesis chapter 37. The last we read, Jacob and his family were in the land of Shechem. His sons killed the men of Shechem. And so the last we heard read was that Jacob was fearful at that moment, thinking that the surrounding towns were going to kill them when they find out. Well, anyway, in chapter 35, that's when God basically tells Jacob to move and settle in Bethel. You guys remember what Bethel is. Bethel is that area where Jacob, remember when he was running from Esau? And he had that dream. And so in that dream, it showed where there was a ladder reaching from here to heaven with angels all around. Well, anyway, when he woke up, he anointed that place Bethel. And so that is the place where God told him to go back. Bethel, which means house of God. So he and his family went ahead and moved. But as they were leaving, the surrounding towns did not kill them. God had put terror in them where they were afraid to touch Jacob and his family. So they moved to Bethel. And in Bethel, God approached Jacob again and told him that your name would no longer be called Jacob. Your name would be called Israel. So, in Bethel, he also again reminded him that he was pleased with him and that he was told him of all the things that he was going to do for him and his descendants. And so he anointed that place again, Bethel, house of God, this second time. Okay, in Bethel, Rachel, she has another baby. So the first one was Joseph. The second one is Benjamin. But she dies after the childbirth. Yeah, Rachel dies. Also, from what I read, Jacob built a monument for Rachel, which is right now resides in Bethel. So I guess if you ever visit Israel, you'll see a monument in Bethel in honor of Rachel. So we've also learned that Isaac is still living, and he lived to be like 180, 185, and what was it, 108 or 185? I'm curious. Anyway, he eventually dies, and what's amazing about that is he had a chance to see Jacob and what he had accomplished. Jacob became a very wealthy man, even without his dad's resources. He became wealthy. So Jacob did have a chance to see that. Well, not actually physical see it, because as you guys know, he was going blind before Jacob even left. So, but then he was aware. And so he eventually died. And his sons, both Esau and Jacob, buried him. In this story, they also made mention of Rebekah's nurse, that she was buried there as well. And I don't understand the significance of Deborah, his mother's Rebekah nurse, but she must have been pretty important during those times. So the next chapter basically talks about Esau and his lineage. You'll notice as you read the Bible that some of those tribes actually are named again. But that's what that next chapter was about. The following chapter, Genesis 37, talks more about Joseph. That's where Joseph's life comes into place. Joseph is the first son of Rachel. He was the favorite. Jacob actually had a favorite son, and he treated him with so much favoritism that the brothers, Jacob's other sons, despised him. They really hated. They couldn't even say anything nice to Jacob. They hate him so much. No, I'm sorry, to Joseph. They hate him so much. And Jacob, Israel, also showed him favoritism by making him a coat, this special coat. You've probably heard of it, this robe of many colors. But yes, Joseph was the favorite, and that's my grandson. Okay, buddy, we'll get this later, okay? Let's take care of this later. That's Aiden, my grandson. So anyway, back to Joseph. Joseph was in charge of, I guess he did some things for his father, but one of the things he told him to do was, he worked with his brothers. His brothers had gone off to Shechem and to pasture what they had. And so he sent Joseph. Wait, before that, Aiden, you're so loud with that bag. Really, buddy? This is what he's trying to open. Oreos at 8 o'clock in the morning. Really, buddy? Can we take care of this in a little bit? In fact, go tell a little man to open that for you. You got to wake him up anyway. Sorry about that. So, I'm sorry. All right, so back to where we were. Joseph. Joseph was the favorite son. Joseph got a special coat. Joseph started having dreams, and these dreams would, if you interpret them, would be like, okay, one day my brothers are going to serve me. They were bowing down to him, basically, in the dream. So that means that the brothers hated him even more. He's trying to say that we're going to serve you one day. We're going to bow down to you one day. Well, anyway, Joseph couldn't control his dreams. He just shared the dreams. And so fast forward right after that, his brothers were pasturing in Shechem. So he got Aiden his bag. Aiden, come on, buddy. Go give that to a man. Tell him to open that for you. Yes. Yes. Aiden, take those back. So sorry about that, guys. That's Aiden. He's the one who's making the noise with the bag. And so, I'm so sorry. Aiden, stop. And so back to Joseph. Joseph goes to check on his brothers. His father said, they've been gone a long time. Go check on them. So as he's approaching his brothers, they're scheming. They want to kill Joseph. To hate someone so bad that you really want to kill them? Seriously? Is that really going to solve all your problems? And so Reuben, the oldest son, was like, the oldest brother said, listen, let's not do that. I mean, what profit do we have killing our baby brother? So he said, let's instead drop him in a ditch. Let's throw him in a ditch. And so Reuben was thinking, later on, when no one's looking, I'll come back and get my baby brother and send him on his way. So Reuben left. And while Reuben was gone, brothers see this caravan coming, these merchants, these Ishmaelites, descendants of Ishmael. And so they decided, how about we just sell him? We can profit from him. We'll sell him to these merchants. And so that's what they do. They take Joseph. They rip his coat off him. They sell him to the Ishmaelites, the merchants who were heading to Egypt. So, yeah, they sold their baby brother to the merchants who ended up in Egypt, who was sold to Potiphar. Potiphar is the captain of the guards, of the palace guards. So he's captain of Pharaoh's palace guards. And meanwhile, back home, they report to their father. They splash some blood all on the coat, and they return to their father without Joseph and say that, yeah, this is all we found of him. And Joseph, oh my God, my boy, my favorite boy, he's been attacked and killed. So yeah, that's where we are right now. And you really have to think about this scenario, where it is right now. It's a horrible thing to even imagine. Joseph, imagine what he probably was going through. The emotions of first his brothers taking him and then throwing him in that ditch. I mean, imagine the pain, the hurt, the loneliness and the betrayal, and then to sell him. Oh my God, that's even worse. And now he's in a foreign land. Oh my gosh. And it's just a horrible situation. You really have to think about that. And what was his brothers? Oh, what were they thinking? And how the hatred can build in you and cause you to do some bad stuff. I mean, you have to look at each individual character in that and imagine, how when you dislike something, how it can build to hatred and what lengths would you go? So that's one of the reasons why God wants to take care of those anger issues immediately, because they become Satan's playground and you wind up doing some crazy stuff. So, guys, take the time, look at the word, look at everything that's going on. See yourself. Where are you when you get angry? Where are you when you feel abandoned or what have you? I mean, think about those things. But God is faithful still. God is faithful still. So that was day number 12. Good going, guys. Keep it up. God bless.